Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to yet another edition of Business Networking with Vipul Bondal on Thinkly Talks. So, I have a very special guest today. I say very special because I've been wanting to invite this gentleman for a very long time. And, I wanted to make sure that, I have his time and his attention. And I'm extremely thankful because he actually has scheduled something that was there today to another day just to facilitate this podcast. So thank you very much. My guest today is the internationally renowned business coach, Sanjay Wadhwa. A quick introduction to Sanjay, although I'm not sure whether I can make it quick because his credentials are pretty long. So let me try and make it as quick as possible. So Sanjay is an international business coach, as I just mentioned. He specializes in conducting what he calls 50 minutes business breakthroughs, during which he gives entrepreneurs ideas to generate business worth 50 lakhs without spending any money on advertising or marketing. He is experienced at coaching people at various levels across various industries and has trained multicultural audiences across many nations like the USA, Australia, UAE, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, and Thailand. He is the director training and co-founder of Phenom Services Private Limited. I hope I've pronounced that right, Sanjay.
Correct.
Phenom specializes in corporate training and coaching of small and medium enterprises. He has worked with over 250 businesses to transform their marketing, sales, revenues, and profits, and has trained over 150,000 people across 16 countries and growing. Has personally coached 7,000 individuals to super success in their life. And he is also the author of a book which is called Small Steps, Big Growth. Welcome, Sanjay Wadhwa.
Thank you so very much, Vipul. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you very much.
Right. So, Sanjay, let me be honest. You are the first one who is a coach on this podcast. And the reason, one of the main reasons I wanted to come here is so that I myself understand what it means to be a business coach. One has heard of a cricket coach, heard of a tennis coach, chess coach, and so on. But business coach is something which is, I think, a more recent kind of a phenomenon. So can you tell us a little bit about what it is to be a business coach? And what is the role of a business coach in an organization?
So first of all, thanks for this amazing introduction. I know I provided a lot of material, but you read all through, and thank you very much for doing that. Just builds my profile a little bit. And just want to correct, business coaching is not a recent phenomena, but it's recently more popular and is more heard of.
Right.
To the COVID online phenomena that happened. People went online and all of that, right? I've been a business coach now for 8 years. And I have a coach all through for last 10 years. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So business coach is not a great, new phenomenon. I know Steve Jobs had a business coach. I know that most uh, big entrepreneurs have a business coach. The idea is simple, Vipul. As an entrepreneur, the journey at the top is very lonely. Like, you're running your business, you don't know who you're going to talk to, who you're going to ask advice of, who are you going to bounce ideas with, and so on. And a coach becomes your partner in thinking. Also, for you to understand business coaching, you need to understand one small concept, which is how are results produced, right? Any result is a function of the things that you do and you don't do, right? Your actions, essentially. And actions come from your thought process. You cannot take any action without thinking. So you have to think first, think of an action, evaluate it, and then take those actions, right? Now, if any action is repeated, it's consistent, And most people know that this is how you take actions. It's called behavior,
Right. Okay.
correct? Someone who's very helpful. Anybody who comes to me for help, I leave everything and start helping them. Then people know me as someone who's helpful, right? And that's why, because I repeatedly do the same thing, consistently do it, and everybody knows, okay, Sanjay is very helpful, so this is what is going to happen.
Right.
If I'm someone who is always getting irritated repeatedly, consistently, then people will say, no, this guy is very khadus, don't go to him. He's like that guy, right?
Okay.
So there is certain behavior, right? And that behavior comes from a repeated thought pattern, which is called mind is set mindset. So
Right.
mindset drives behaviors, and behaviors drive results.
Right.
Unless and until you don't change your mindset, you don't change your behaviors, your results are going to remain the same. A lot of people wonder, I do a lot of work, I come in early, go in late, do this, that, and the other, I work 6, 7 days in a week, yet my business is not growing as much as I think it should. The reason is you're repeatedly doing the same things, okay?
Right.
Your thinking is the same, your actions are the same, and therefore your results are the same. Now, a coach comes in and starts to check with you, have you thought from different angles and different perspectives?
Okay.
And when that happens, your perspective broadens, your thinking broadens. Okay. Like I want to take a prop and explain this to you. Like there is a glass in my hand, this is like maybe 300 milliliter glass. If I hold this glass under a tap for, let's say, 30 seconds, it's going to fill up. Okay. But what happens if I hold this glass for 1 minute? It's still going to have 300 milliliters of water. Everything else is going to flow away, but the 300 milliliter water is what it's going to hold. If I hold it for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, I'm still only going to be able to hold 300 milliliters of water. So
Right.
imagine, this is your mindset. This is your thought pattern. If you're thinking in a certain way, your results are only going to be a certain level.
Right.
So for entrepreneurs who have achieved success and now they don't know how to go to the next level, they need to challenge their thinking. They need to challenge their actions or change their actions. Okay. And that's where a coach walks in, asks them to think of the same situation from different angles and different perspectives, thereby broadening their mindset. Once
Right.
the mindset is broadened, things they didn't know about themselves comes into light, they start thinking differently, they take different actions, and different actions have higher chances of producing bigger results. And that's what a coach does. So I hope I've kind of explained this to you. In cricket coaching, the coach impacts the skill of the player.
Right.
The skill of the business owner is decision making, okay, thinking, taking risks, and all of those. And imagine if a coach can walk in and start to broaden and build that for you, your behaviors are going to change and your results are going to, right? And that's what a coach does. I hope I've been able to explain.
Well, I think you have, and what you said is a very interesting. You said that the skill, basic skill that a business coach typically tries to enhance, like a cricket coach would try to enhance, let's say, a batsman's batting skills. You
Yeah.
help, and coaches like you, I mean, will help entrepreneurs improve their decision making skills, right? Would that
Yes.
be the right way of looking at it?
Yes.
And all the decisions that impact business results is something that you focus on.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So a couple of questions come to mind. So first is, I mean, how did you become a business coach? If you can just walk us through your story or how you ended up becoming a business coach,
So,
and what are the kind of clients you work with? Is there a specific sector you work with, or you're sector agnostic? I mean, what is your way of doing it?
can I be slightly longish about this? I'm going to tell you
Absolutely.
my story as an entrepreneur as well. So I was working in a Fortune 500 company in India, in their
Okay.
Indian arm. And I was head of a department with about 60 people reporting into me. And at one fine day, I lost my job. Anyways, I had up to my eyeballs doing the same thing every day. It was monotonous. It was boring. So at some day, just karma or synchronicity, I kind of went out of my job, and that's the exact same time My partner, his name is Sandeep, and he and I studied together, including also my wife. All three of us are college mates, and he quit his job as well. And both of us decided that okay, enough of working with somebody else. Let's do our own thing. Okay, and that's how I started my own. We met together and over a couple of drinks said we're not going back to a job, we're doing our own thing, and we decided that both of us are foodies. And we had heard this, that if you do what you love doing, this, that, and the other. And we said, okay, let's start a restaurant. And knew absolutely nothing about starting a restaurant. So we started meeting people, restaurant owners we knew, friends, colleagues, consultants, and started asking about restaurant and how to do it and this, that, and the other. 6 months of doing it and spending all our savings, we realized that restaurant is not our cup of tea. And then we sat one day again and we said, okay, he said, what do you know? I said, I know training. I've been doing it for 15 years, so I know that. And I asked him, he said, I know sales. So he said, okay, let's start a training company. You sell, I'll train. And that's how we. And the first year, it was bumper for us. I was actually training. I actually trained that year 211 days out of 365. That's
Okay.
maximum of how much a trainer can do in a year. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and we made a lot of money, but that's it. There was our ceiling. Okay. And we didn't know how to grow from there. The only thing we knew was increase our fees. But every time we went to the market saying we'll increase our fees, clients would say, but I have other trainers who are charging cheaper, so we're going to
Yeah.
go to them. So we were losing business if we increase the fees, and if we decrease the fees, we had a ceiling. We didn't know how to grow beyond that.
Right.
That's when I first encountered my first business coach. I hired a business coach to say, hey, help us scale because we don't know what to do now.
Okay.
Okay. Training, I'm doing that really well. He knows sales, he's doing that really well. But what else? He sat us down and he actually said, there's a flaw in your business model.
Okay.
And that's the first time I'd heard the word. I said, what is a business model? How does that
Right.
work?
Right.
Because, you guys are not business, you are actually selling your own time, which is almost like doing a job, but you're self-employed. And the problem with self-employed is in employment, if you do a bad job, they'll ask you to go. In
Right.
self-employed, you do a bad job, you continue to do the job because you're not kicking yourself out of the job, right? So
Correct.
it's even more insidious and dangerous if you're in self-employment.
Right.
So, and then we asked him how to do, how to make this a business. So we turned around over the next 2 years to hire 80 trainers who
Okay.
now do training. I don't train essentially as a matter of need. I train a few days in a month as a matter of choice. I choose the customer I train for. I choose the fees that they will pay me. I choose the kind of training I'll do.
Okay.
Essentially, I made myself free. We now have a sales department in the business that sells. We have a content department that makes content for training, and there are 80 trainers who we hire from time to time, and they go and deliver the training, and we just underwrite it. So the clients don't pay for my time; they pay for my company's expertise in delivering a solution to them, right? So
Right.
that shift is a huge shift for a business owner. I always thought I'm this great trainer. I've trained, 80, at that time I trained 80,000 people and this, that, and the other, and who can replace me? But I soon found out it's not about replacement. It's about what the client wants and what's appropriate for the client.
Right.
And if somebody can do it, why should I do it? Right. And that's how you build a business. You only do the things that are core. So I spend time in training trainers, certifying them, working with them to enhance their skill set so they're as good as me, so that they can go represent me and my brand, and the client would still get value, right? So it's like a win-win-win. The client wins because they get somebody at a lower price. The trainer wins because their skill sets are up and they're getting livelihood, and I win because I make a percentage of that earning without actually stepping in and doing the training myself, right? So that shift brought into focus that, there are things that I don't know about business. There are tons of business owners, and usually I work with 250 business owners one on one.
Right.
done sessions for over 7,000 entrepreneurs. And the biggest challenge that I've heard from them is they're good at their trade. Like if I ask a printer, he'll tell me the dye, the color, the printing machine, the size of the paper, the GSM, the weight, the this and the that and everything. But if I ask them about business, if I ask them about managing teams, their finances,
Right.
marketing, sales, strategy, segmentation, going abroad with their product and services, that they don't know,
Yeah.
right? So huge challenge. There's a huge
Correct.
gap, and there is no systematic way of going. A small business owner can actually learn all this. Like even MBA classes teach it very theoretically, and that theory sometimes is not applicable practically,
Hmm.
right? So a coach can actually walk in, quickly upskill the business owner who's good with their trade. They have a great offering. Just add all the skills of running a business, and the business can fly.
Right.
So with that in mind, I decided that the next evolution for me, because one of my core values is contribution. That's how I walked into training as well as a career.
Yeah.
Uh, and I've been training for 24 years now. So uh, my next evolution is contribution to the business owner, because I got contributed by somebody, and I want to give that back. That's how I became a business coach.
Okay.
The second part of your question is, who do I work with? I essentially work with service providers. Okay, that's my sweet spot. Have I worked only with service providers? I've worked with manufacturers, e-commerce companies, traders, exporters, everybody. But if you ask me, I love working with service providers. I have a services business. I understand that business really well,
Yeah.
and that's my sweet spot. But I've had 60 crore manufacturing company to go to 100 crores. So if someone comes and I understand their business, I'm happy to coach them. I'm that way industry agnostic. But if you ask me, who do I go behind and I pursue actively, I pursue service providers. If you have like a half a million or $1 million business and you want to go to $3, $5 million, then that's something that I can help you do. That's what I do.
Okay. Okay. Understood. So, I also had another follow-up question to do. So, what are the qualities, qualifications, and experience that one needs to possess? Because one definitely, once when you interact with business people, typically, they, as you rightly mentioned, a printer will be, so much all about, their GSM and the dies and so on, or, for that matter, some other business, they'll be very, very technically good at their business.
Correct.
Whereas, the other aspects of business, they might not be good at. For example, finance, they may not be very good at. They will depend on other people. Marketing,
Correct.
sometimes they're depending on other people. And,
Correct.
when you have a discussion with them, they prefer to talk to someone who, is from that background. So because they think
Yeah,
somebody from that background will be able to help them,
sure.
well, sometimes it's possible, but very often, many of these people come with so much of technical knowledge that,
Yeah.
business knowledge eludes them. So typically,
Yes.
what are the qualities and qualifications and experience you think a business coach should possess? Or is that important? Or is there something more that a business coach that should possess that helps uh, you know, make a very successful business coach, and what has made you successful?
Oh, sure. So first of all, let me tell you why I qualify to give that answer. Okay, so see, on one side, I coach business owners and I help them double their profits
Yeah.
1 year with money back guarantee. Okay, in the last 8 years, no one has ever asked me for a money back. So I believe that they got their worth, right?
Right. I'm sure.
So yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing I want to say is I also train and certify people to become business coaches. Okay. In the last 3.5 years, over 50 business coaches have been trained and certified. And most of these people, 84% of them have actually got clients within the first 6 months of joining the program, which is not even the program hasn't even gotten over, but they have got clients. and they have also helped a lot of their clients. I have coaches who make 5-10 lakh rupees per month coaching clients. Okay, and that too on a part-time basis. So while they do all the things that they were doing earlier, they also coach businesses. Okay.
Right.
So I have kind of made this a science of how to train and certify coaches. So that is why I'm telling you now what I'm telling you. So first thing, when I decided to be a coach, I needed to get a skill set of how to coach people. Okay, in India, most coaching is, and especially in this zone, not I'm not talking about sports coaching or health coaching or any of those things. They are skill based, but um, coaching where people are asked help to grow their mindset. Most coaching is generic in nature. Like
Right.
there's generic stuff that's happening. So after acquiring the generic skill set of how to coach someone, I was still not satisfied saying, hey, this is about me coaching someone on any topic or anything where they're stuck. But how do I bring the specialization of business coaching here? So I found out that there's nothing in India. So I had to travel. I traveled to US, Canada, Australia, to learn some of the aspects of business coaching from different people there. And so learning is the first step. And then I got aspects of business coaching that are not very commonly present in India. Okay. And then we had to kind of Indianize those because they were mainly US centric
Global.
or
Yeah.
tier one country specific, right? So once we did that and we got some success, like I've taken a 25 crore event management company to go to 70 crores in 18 months. I've taken a 20 crore logistics company to go to 20 to 75 crores in 12 months. I've taken a 60 crore manufacturing company to go from 60 to 100 crores. Taken interior designer to go from zero business to 4 crores in 1 year, which is like in her 15 years of life, that was the highest business that she'd ever done. So
Wow.
stuff like
Okay.
that. So we saw that this works. Okay, and there's a need for this, but there are not enough coaches doing that. So then we created a program for that, and we do three skills. One, we teach you how to coach and deliver tangible results that are measurable. Okay. Like people say, in my business, I was here, and now after your coaching, I've reached here. Okay. My turnover was this much, my turnover has grown, my profit was this much. I had 60 clients, now 160 clients. So there is a tangible result,
Right.
right?
Right.
That's the first. So that's one skill people need to learn. The
Correct.
second skill, even if you're the best coach in the world, unless you know how to market yourself,
Right.
you're not going to be able to make an impact. It's, being the best coach in the world is like opening a store in the jungle. Nobody knows it exists. Nobody goes there. Nobody knows. Like it's like a huge jungle, and nobody knows you're sitting in one corner of the world,
Right.
right? But you market yourself and you reach out to people. Suddenly, people sit up and say, "Who is this person? It's talking so much sense." Okay, and they start to follow you.
Right.
They become your tribe. And then the third skill you want to do is when people start to follow you, how do you serve them in a way that they actually start wanting to buy from you? So three skill sets: delivering tangible results. Second is marketing yourself.
Marketing
And
yourself.
third is converting those people who come through marketing but attracted to you, selling them without being salesy or pushy or manipulative, all those wrong connotations of sales that people have, but being genuinely able to serve them in a way that they naturally see you as a choice for them to work with you. Okay, so those are the
Those
three
are the qualities.
areas of skills that people need to learn inside those three areas, and there are nitty gritties around it and so on. But yeah, that.
Those are the three qualities. So
Yeah, yeah,
empathy, I'm sure, plays a big role in what you do, because it's something that, as you mentioned, being at the top is a very lonely place to be. So empathy,
correct.
I'm sure, plays a big role in doing what you do.
Huge, huge role. See, I need you to understand that a relationship between a coachee and a coach is that of trust, right? If
Right.
there's no trust, this relationship just doesn't work. Like as simple as that, right? Okay. So So it's like if you don't like a teacher, that subject starts to look boring to you. You start skipping homework, stuff like that. It's very basic, right? But if you like that teacher, then the subject becomes interesting, and then you make sure that you're impressing the teacher and doing everything, and suddenly your grades grow,
Grades
right?
start looking better. Yeah.
So yeah, so it's a trust relationship, and the basic of trust is empathy. If as a coach I can find some situation in my life which is not exactly the same, but similar to the situation you're going through, like you lost your biggest client, and if I can go back and say, I didn't probably lose my biggest client, but one of my best employees left me, and I felt like 30% of business went out the door. This guy was managing that much, right?
Right.
Find that event and find the emotion at that time, and if I can be sensitive that you might be going through a similar emotion, if not the same, and if I can act appropriately, the other person gets that hey, this guy knows what it means to be in this situation, and because he understands my pain, I can trust this guy to come up with a solution. I can trust this guy as my partner to explore what the solution could be, right? So, the fastest way to gain trust is to know the pain of your customer, and to be sensitive that they may not be in the right frame at this time, and I need to be sensitive to that fact and not force things around, but really work with them to overcome the hump. Like, I know that it doesn't matter, don't worry, yaar. In a couple of months you'll have more clients, things will tide over. But that guy is not understanding all of that right now.
Correct.
He is in shock. So I can't be saying, very insensitively saying, "Oh, don't worry, things will happen." I got to say, okay, what are you going to do now? Okay, how do we challenge, overcome the challenge? There is a challenge. I understand that. And when they start thinking about the future and look at how to overcome the challenge, they start seeing that in 2, 3 months things could be okay. And that's when I share my experience. So there is that amount of sensitivity, understanding that emotion that they may be going through, and not forcing yourself through that process is very important, in fact. And that's why empathy is critical, because empathy builds trust, and without trust, coaching doesn't work. So it's like almost the most important thing in coaching.
Fantastic. Fantastic reply, Sanjay. I mean, I always expected that, that would be the key reason, because, some of the best people in the world, like you said, even Steve Jobs has had a coach. And,
Yeah.
I'm certain that his coach wouldn't be able to tell him much about IT, right? But,
Yeah.
the only reason he may have survived with a demanding person like Steve Jobs would be because he understands what Steve Jobs is going through, and therefore was to guide him in the right way.
Yeah. Vipul, can I tell you a situation of empathy?
Sure.
One of my clients was going through a crisis, okay,
Hmm.
and they were not going to make even the revenue of the last year, okay, and they had to cut down expenses. They had to let go of a few people and all that. So as we were discussing it, I said one of the first people you should let go of is me, because it's not right that you're going to have an external consultant, but you're going to let internal people go. Yeah, and it's not a business decision, the right business decision for me, but it was the right business decision for him. What face will he have with his people if he's going to say, "I'm going to let all of you go, but I'm going to have an expensive coach who's going to work with me"? It just doesn't work, right? So having that courage builds trust. Of course, the decision is his and all of that, but for me to not suggest it is being insensitive or being afraid to say that this is what is the right thing to do, and that's how it is.
Wow. I mean, amazing, amazing. I don't have words to express what you just said, because, that's really the right, uh, way you have approached it. I'm not going to ask you what happened next, because I'll let that be, unless you want to say what
I'm
exactly happened.
You share. I have no issues in sharing. No,
Right.
I I actually walked out of that. That contract got terminated. I walked out of that business. But here's the deal. It made me also wiser. So I now look at, I don't work with people who are sinking. Okay, although there is a need there as well, I help them. I actually say, hey, let's get on a call once every month, and let me just tell you a few things you could do to kind of get over it. But I'm not going to get into a formal agreement with you, because here, every time a company is not making enough profits, okay, they have
Yeah.
a decision to make. Should I pay this guy the money, or should I take this money home, or should I pay this to my employees? Where is this going? So it's not even ethically right for me to say, no, no, I need to get paid whether you're making money or not. It doesn't work like that, right? So I work with companies who are stable and stuck, so that they want to go to the
They
next
want to
level.
grow to the next level.
Yeah, and for companies that are not doing well, I rather help them, and say, boss, you come to a certain level, we'll think about growth later. First, let me just kind of help you through this. So, I've learned to say no to clients as well, and that's important. I think there's empathy at the core of that as well. A lot of people think that, hey, you're refusing business, but it's not right. It's just not
Correct.
ethical right for me to get this business. There's just enough business in the market for me to get, and I'm telling you, there's just enough, and a lot of business in the market to get. A lot of business owners who want to grow, who are doing well, and they want to do better than what they're doing. Let's start with that. Let's start with that, and we'll come to a place where it's like when you wear your own oxygen mask before helping others. So
Correct.
that.
Correct. Well, there is a very interesting question which Raj Vyas has asked on the community. So I'll ask you that question now. So his question is, how can a business owner measure the ROI, the return on investment of working with a coach?
Sure. So, Raj, thank you for asking that question. It just helps me solidify the position of a business coach for you. So, first things first, I want you to get, there's a ladder of coaches, okay? There is a relationship coach, a career coach, a health coach, a wealth coach, a stock trading coach, a performance coach, a business coach, and so on. There's some of these, a life coach, sorry, I missed that. So there are a lot of coaches where the returns are not tangible.
Yeah.
But I think a few of the coaching areas, like health coach, the returns are very tangible, right? If I lose weight or if I gain weight, then you can measure that, right? And like a stock trading coach, if I make money from stocks, if you coach me, I made money from the stocks, then it's good. Otherwise, it's not good,
Yeah.
right? So a business coach must come with a tangibility. Okay, I think a business coach must walk in and say, hey, let's lay down your goals on a few measurable parameters. For example, revenue is a measurable parameter,
Okay.
right? Profit is a measurable parameter. Okay, number of marquee clients, A category clients that you have in your business is a measurable parameters. How many territories or are you selling into, and expanding that is a measurable parameter. In fact, business coaching brings a lot of tangible returns, and therefore it also commands very high fee. Okay. But the answer to your question is, if I was hiring a business coach today, and if I'm paying the coach a lot of money, then I'm going to say, hey, I must at least make 10 times the profit from his advice or his intervention. And if I did that, then that's a successful return. Correct?
Okay.
And I lay down those challenges with the coach. I say, hey, listen, my revenue is stuck at so many crores for last 2 years. I'm unable, probably I'll grow by 10-15% this year on my own. Beyond that, this is how much revenue should grow. So I know you've given me 10x the returns.
Correct.
And if you're willing to sign up to that as my partner, then I'm hiring you, and then let us play that game. Then if I reach that number, I know that this coach has helped me do that, because I personally, I felt I'm only going to grow 10-15%, but this guy helped me go to from 15 to 50%, which is huge. Okay. And that's why when I commit to somebody, I say, hey, I'm going to help you double your profits in 12 months. Otherwise, I'll refund your fee. And I give this in a written agreement, Vipul. I
Wow.
put where my mouth is. Okay. And I say, if we don't hit double, then, please take your money back. One of my first clients, we had this risk and reward clause that last quarter fee, you hold back. If you hit the double number revenue goal, then you pay me. Otherwise, you don't pay me that. Okay. If you hit the goal, then you pay me the last quarter fees in double. So there's a bonus. And if not,
Okay.
right,
Don't
there I forfeit one quarter's fee.
correct.
Uh, and they did not reach the double digit number. They were shy of the double digit number by 8 crores. But in the and they didn't pay me the last quarter fee. But they actually made 3 times more in the next 6 months because of
Wow.
all the initiatives that we've taken. So
Right.
they ended from 25 crores, they ended to 41 crores in the 12-month period that I was with them. But in the next 6 months, they actually went to 75. So huge.
Fabulous. So, it's not just so you're not just a sounding board. You're actually you have a stake in the business in that sense.
I
You
part, shouldn't I be doing that? I mean, if you're a teacher, and if you just said, "Oh, I finished my portion, but 40 people failed," then
correct.
how teacher are you, right?
Absolutely.
Or the
Absolutely.
doctor says operation was successful. We followed all the 97 steps, but the patient died. What's the point of that?
Correct.
So yeah,
Correct.
that's
Fantastic.
how
Okay, so I'll take a couple of questions. The next few questions we'll take it from the community, which are also interesting. So I'll take one from Sakshi Shetty. Her question is: are there any misconceptions about business coaching that you've experienced in all these years of coaching?
it's not misconceptions, but as much as people are looking for help, they're also afraid of help.
Wow.
There are
Okay.
people I meet who say, but if I hire you, there's more work that I have to do. There's, more this, more that. So they're afraid to actually step out of their comfort zone. I
Right.
think percent of the people who reject my services, who don't buy my services after hearing what I do, they do that because they think, oh, this is just too much that
Too
you're
much
going to
discipline.
you're going to demand from us.
Correct.
And I think I can do that. Okay. And in various ways, they say that. I just finished pitching with one company. We did a very deep analysis of their company and their strengths and weaknesses and this and that and the other. And when we gave them the report of these are the things that are going well in your organization, these are the things that you must improve, they said, "Oh my God, so much work. Sorry, we won't be able to do that." So they're happy to not grow quickly and faster and larger, but they're okay to, stay in their comfort zone because they can't go beyond their comfort zone. Like if I tell somebody, let's meet at 7 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
they say, 7 in the morning, I get up at 9. But
Correct.
listen, if you keep doing what you are doing, you're going to keep getting what you are getting. So a common challenge, I say, is for people to step out of the comfort zone, and that's a big one. Another myth a lot of people have is, a coach is very expensive. It's just too much investment. What if it doesn't work? That's why I actually brought in money back guarantee to my offer because I want to let them know that listen, be courageous, take that little leap of faith, and I'll take the risk off the table for you. Relax.
Right.
Okay, and I'm sure that you can do more than what you are doing right now. You got to trust yourself to do that. And if money is a concern, then I want to take it off the table. So that's another thing. I hope I've answered that question, but those are the two key that I keep hearing all the time.
Correct. So, is there a case or a example of a client whom you can talk about, where, if you when you think about it, it gives you great joy because this is my best case study or, the case study that's closest to your heart. I mean, just to bring alive what happens in a coaching situation.
Yeah, one of my clients, he started his business. I'm not going to name names, okay?
Yeah, that's all
So,
right. Yeah.
uh, so one of my clients started his business when he was 23. And
Right.
at the age of 43, his business had done the best year in his 20 years of doing the business. He had almost $2.5 million of revenue. And
Right.
And he said, but I'm tired. I don't know what else to do now to go from here to the next level.
Right.
When we started working with them, within 3 months, they had their best sales month in 20 years. Okay. Within 6 months, they doubled their revenues. And within 1 year, they grew their business by 375 percentage.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. From 2.5 million to nearly 10 million, like nine and a few, okay, like that. And that's the proof that businesses have so much potential. It's just that they don't know how to realize that. And Vipul, that's my mission, to get small business to realize their fullest potential and become big. Like, how can a small business say, today I'm big, I've reached
Correct.
here. And that is something that I want to do. There are clients where we've started some projects with them where we optimize their marketing and sales. And their marketing and sales help them survive the COVID period. They've grown their company 6 times in the 6x in the last 7 years. Stuff like results of dreams have happened. Okay, and those are some amazing things. Like, and my proudest thing is that you don't need a coach forever if you don't want,
Right.
but you must have a coach so that they can fix and align a few things in your business, and then your business is like a well-oiled machine, and then it's kind of running on its own. But yeah. Okay. And 3 years back is when we casted this vision and said, okay, this is what we'll do in our business. And 3 months later, when we had casted that vision, when it started to sink in and digest and all that, Sandeep, my partner, and we were sitting one day and we said, if you want to do 100,000 small businesses, and you and I are two people coaching 7, 8, or 10 businesses every year, because that's how much we could do at
You're
that time.
coaching. Yeah.
So, then how are we going to reach 100,000? And
Right.
that he said we will train and certify more people to become coaches.
Correct.
And since then, we started
Coaching.
training and people, business coaches. In the first year, we only had 3 people who trusted us. In the next year, we had 10. This year, we are at last financial year, we did 61 coaches. And
Wow.
this
Okay.
year, we are targeting 100. But imagine if each 100 of these coach 10 every year, then in the next 5 years, we would have covered half the ground, right? And that's the vision of how. So we probably will not meet the deadline of 2026.
That's, yeah.
That's the game
Or
we
you
are playing
may.
right.
You never know. I mean, you might.
In this process, not so we constantly keep thinking, what more can we do? What more can we do? We are in fact thinking of, or in the process of making a biz tech company where we'll have increases.
Correct.
If that can happen, that could be miraculous. That's the one that we're working on right now.
So let's come to the basic reason why we are meeting today, Sanjay. It's all about business networking.
Sure.
And well, you are a ace networker, and you are a member of BNI. So just tell
Yes.
me, how has business networking and active business networking helped you in your business?
So I started my business networking journey as soon as I started my business in 2011.
Right.
Okay. And 9 months later, I said, listen, this BNI business doesn't work for me.
Okay.
I have to go attend these meetings on a weekly basis. And usually that's the day when I'm training as well. So either I lose direct revenue or I go to the meeting and, or I miss the meeting. What do I do? It's a choice, right? Every time I would miss a meeting, I would miss opportunities to generate business. And every time I would attend the meeting, I would probably lose revenue.
Revenue. Right.
So I went away, but I knew that, as a consultant, a professional, a service provider, each of these categories, or a business owner in itself, you need to surround yourself with people because you're in a people business.
Correct.
3 years later, remember when I said we turned it around and we had 80 trainers who were training for us and all that, free. I came back to BNI, and for 8 years and a few months I've been here. And I've got tremendous amount of connections, tremendous amount of business from this platform of where I network very actively. I'm also part of 3 or 4 different other networks with other purposes. Like I'm part of a business coaching international network where we share best practices and learn from each other in this peer learning and all that. So that's another network that I'm part of. And I believe that every professional should find their own tribe and be a part of the tribe. Okay, because even when you're going through difficult times, just someone to share with is a big thing to do. And
True.
50 other people say, oh, we've gone through the same, and this is what we did, and this is what happened to us, and you suddenly find inspiration and hope, right?
Correct. Correct.
I also am part of a network of people where that 11 different entrepreneurs, we meet once a month and we share our challenges, our successes, our perspectives with each other. And we've been a group for 10 years now, and they've
Okay.
seen my ups and downs. Like, imagine if I had a fight with my partner, who I don't know how to resolve it with him. But
Correct.
if I go share it with some others and they give me perspective, it gives me a chance to come back and resolve it with him, right? So
Correct.
stuff like that. And networking is huge. So BNI has been a big part of my life. And I tell everyone who's an entrepreneur that you need to be in a professional networking setup where you meet people, you exchange ideas. Business will happen. Business will definitely
Yeah.
happen. Today, out of my 61 coaches, 11 of those are from BNI. Either they were a part of BNI and that's how they met me, or they got inspired by my BNI stories and they joined BNI after becoming a coach, right? But that's the way it works. I wish I could disclose the amount of business I get from BNI, but
Yeah.
about
We'll let that be for now.
about 15% of what I make comes from BNI.
Okay.
So it's huge. It's huge. And in BNI, in Mumbai, we are 5,100 odd members,
Correct.
and I'm in the central leadership team of BNI Mumbai. Even
Okay.
along with you, you and I work together on that.
Yeah.
Uh, that gives me so much exposure, like people who I haven't met. Like I call someone from in their 58,000 members in BNI, call someone and say, hey, I'm from this chapter of BNI, the tone changes, the way people talk changes. It's like they literally open their heart and their doors for me, right?
Yeah.
And that's the magic of being in a network. I am part of business owners network, and in that network, when somebody says, "Hey, I need help with this product or this service or this thing," and I open my BNI connects with them, my respect in that group is so high that okay, Sanjay is the most helpful person in this group. He knows everybody and anybody in the world, whatever product service
True.
in which the country you want, this guy can help you get there. Okay, that itself has given me a lot of business. Like forget the direct business that I get from BNI, but the cloud that I carry, that I'm not alone. I have a force of 58,000 people from BNI India who I can connect you with.
That's
Magical.
actually true. I mean, a lot of my friends also, they'll have some need and they'll say, I'm sure there's somebody in BNI who can help me. Why don't you help me find someone who can help me fix
Correct.
something, So yeah, that's true. And that kind of increases your own credibility as you go along because, suddenly, they see you as a helpful person, somebody who, has no stake in helping you out. There's no vested interest in why this person is helping you, and then you're able to make a difference. One last question, Sanjay, before we conclude, is this whole thing about technology that's happening. Human intelligence is being replaced by an intelligence which we have created called artificial intelligence. And there is a solution for almost everything. You can ask an artificial intelligence bot, what is it about business that I need to do? So I'm sure you face the challenge too. I mean, questions get asked to chat GPT and chat GPT can throw up whatever you want. So how do you deal with that challenge? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who come to you saying, these are questions which, chat GPT can answer very easily. So how do you deal with that?
So sorry, I don't have that challenge
Okay,
because
good.
I've had this challenge from the day I became a coach. YouTube was always available, right?
Right.
And millions of opinions and views on anything. Like that shoe store that I spoke to, he can also go on YouTube and find out how to grow the footfall. There's no problem there. Okay,
Yeah.
really. Problem is, can they watch a video or read what ChatGPT is saying and convert that into an actionable plan and then see if that's working in their store or not? That's
Correct.
where the issue. There is no dearth of knowledge. See, what ChatGPT is doing is aggregating the knowledge and bringing it to you in a simpler format or in a format or in a language that you understand.
Correct.
But the knowledge is always there. It's not if somebody found, so if somebody put the effort to find that knowledge, they will find it directly also. Why
Right.
does you need a chat GPT to find it for you? Not required, right? But the game here is knowledge is not where the key is. The application is where the key is. I can give you all the knowledge, Vipul, free of cost, but can you go ahead and apply it? Is the issue. There are only 3% people in the world who are application oriented, which means they'll take a concept, convert it into an actionable idea, and then go ahead and apply it and get the results from it. The rest of the 97% people need somebody to guide them through. That's where a coach walks in. And in India, there's a huge challenge with our education system. We are a knowledge-driven culture. From eras, there has been gurukuls and knowledge and this, that, and the other, right?
True.
But the problem with our knowledge is we teach concept after concept after concept after concept after concept. Where are we teaching application? Like
Correct.
today, education is changing, but in the SSC, when we did it, we were only learning concepts, remembering it, and vomiting on paper. Where were the projects? Where were and that's why if you look at the number of inventions that India does versus the number of patents we file, is usually there's a mismatch. Okay, like there are tons of things that India has discovered before the world, and yet the world is credited with it.
Because of the
Like,
application.
absolutely. I mean, can you think gravity was first discussed in India, but yet Galileo and the apple is where we say gravity is, right? Because the
Correct.
application thinking is missing.
True.
To tell you a concept, we are so tuned to understand it, write it down, but we are not tuned to convert it into an actionable and act. And that's where a coach or a support system or a structure is required for you to convert knowledge into actionable and take action and tweak it so that you get results. So, no threat. Sorry.
Fantastic. So thank you, Sanjay. Thanks very much for your time and answering all the questions very patiently and in great detail. I'm sure the people who have logged in today and those who will watch it on YouTube will be richer with what they've heard. Before you leave, Sanjay, if you can WhatsApp me your contact details that you would like to share, I will put it on the community so that the people who've heard you today would like to get in touch. They will be able to reach out to you. So if you would like to share some of your contact details, please do. You can even announce it right now if you like.
Very simple. Just get on my website. It's www.sanjaywadhwa.co. It's not com. The com wasn't available. I tried so much for that com, but it is co. So sanjaywadhwa.co is where you can find me. All my social media handles are there. I do a lot of training there free of cost. All of that is there right there.
So that's it, Sanjay. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. And I
So
look forward to interacting with you very soon again.
thanks, Vipul. This was a pleasure. Thank you very much.